Doo-be-doo-doo, doo-doo-doo-doo. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Da-da-dum, da-dum-dum. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Doo-be-doo-be-doo-doo. Doo-be-doo-be-doo-doo. Two people hearing it. Which one is it from me? So I need to mute the phone here. This will be a very short show, by the way. So, I'm going to do real quick is I have almost have this office complete, the studio, I should say. So let me take you a quick tour around the studio. I think I'll just pick up the camera here. There you have collectibles. You have the physical DVD rack, which, you know, considering what Warner Bros. Discovery is doing, it might be a good idea to, if there's some Warner Bros. Discovery show you like, to go out for that physical media. As you see, I got Mr. Shatner there. Only I could put Mr. Shatner in a corner. And you have the wall of autographs. That's there. You see, one autograph shy of having all my autographs up. You see the lamp there. It's my on-air sign. Now, if you were to go all the way over here, you would see, well, my dresser, because this is also my dressing room.
A package for Thomas order, placed yesterday, should arrive today between 1:15 p.m. and 4:45 p.m., containing picture. Also, I have a tip for getting the most out of this product. Based on a customer's review, I would suggest...
Alexa, stop. So yeah, this is, my office is coming together. So, my picture locked down there. So, the only problem I have with this L-shaped desk is sometimes the arm of my chair and the desk fight. Anyway, as I said, this will be pretty much a short show. And there's just not a whole lot for me to talk about. This past week, nothing really interested me, which is kind of, my thought of the show is this should be stuff, if it's interesting to me, I want to, interest you. So anyway, let's get down to work here. Let me take off this text box. Screen capture. Why I got screen capture? Anyway, put on the headset. All right. Okay. In 3, 2, 1. Tonight, the return of the other Constantine, Mac and Cheese Panther, synthesizing Vader, Strange New Worlds the comic, and remember Louise Fletcher. All that and more on this edition of Multiverse Tonight. Comic books, sci-fi, fantasy, and more. If you're looking for a roundup of geeky news, you're in the right place. This is Multiverse Tonight. And here's your host, Thomas Townley. Well, hello everyone, and welcome to episode 173 of Multiverse Tonight from the Multiverse Tonight Studio. And, it's another week. This past week, we went and saw Clerks 3 over at the Warren West in Wichita. Good movie. I liked it. I thought, if you're a fan of like Chasing Amy, you'll like this movie. You'll like. I think you'll like this movie. This was very more of a comedy drama turn for Kevin Smith. Which probably he's probably been really having deep thoughts about his eventual death. So. Death plays a big part of this movie. I'm surprised that he didn't have some guy dressed as the literal, sickled, black-robed death showing up throughout the movie. Kind of a very Ingmar Bergman way. But no, it was a very good movie. I am one picture frame away from finishing the studio picture-rama that's behind me. If you'll watch the live stream, go to YouTube or my Twitch channel. I just showed it off to the viewers. This is a lot of pictures. It literally goes along one wall and then almost all the way down the wall to my right. Discretion here. There are bookcases and things. I can't put pictures exactly behind bookcases. Wouldn't work. I did put up my autographed lithograph of William Shatner. I put him in a very special place behind the door. Because, frankly, Mr. Shatner, that's where you belong, behind the door. I want to remember you sometimes, and sometimes I just think you ought to stay behind your door and, sit there for the rest of your days. You don't help yourself when you just start spouting. You don't want to live so long that you become your own enemy, in other words. Other than that, this really isn't a long episode. There wasn't a ton of news that really interested me this time around, but there are a few things to talk about, and let's get to them by talking about the comic book news, starting with DC Comics. Keanu Reeves will be returning to the role of John Constantine nearly 20 years after he last played the role in 2005's much maligned Constantine. Reeves will return alongside Francis Lawrence and Akiva Goldsman writing the script, and producing alongside producers J.J. Abrams, Hannah Minghella, and Lorenzo Di Bonaventure, and Erwin Stoff also doing exec producing. Now, the 2005 movie was successful and considered to be, for some to be a fan favorite. However, diehard fans dismissed it because it was more of a loose adaptation. Again, He's black haired. He's just a very different character. But frankly, and you can malign me, I guess. And if you want to malign me, go to multiversetonight.com and please contact me, and I'll read your thoughts on the air. It was it's one of my favorite Keanu Reeves movies. It it hit the right spot. It had interesting characters, had an interesting premise. I mean, I like that kind of stuff. Anyway, heading on with Variety, also reporting that HBO Max's Madam X and J.J. Abrams' Constantine series for the streaming service is now dead. Those have been in early talks with a lead actor, and 4 scripts had been written, but those will now be written off. Warner Bros. Discovery will have a huge tax write-off coming. We just learned that the show Final Space, which was the animated series that ran on, was it TBS, is going to be basically written off, which means that after it finishes its run on, I believe it's Netflix, that the show will basically vanish from the face of the earth. So again, this makes a real sense of urgency that if there's a Warner Brothers show or movie out there, buy it digitally, buy the DVD, buy the Blu-ray. Make sure you save these things, because again, companies like Warner Bros. Discovery don't give a rat's patoot about whether one person liked this show. If they think they can get more money from it by writing it off their taxes, they'll do it. They're not in it for your entertainment. They're in it for their profit. On the subject of Warner Bros. DC movies that were successfully released, DC's League of Super Pets is coming to HBO Max this week. The movie was released in theaters back at the end of July. The Orville's Chad Coleman has become Superman and Lois's big bad for the third season. The actor will be playing the role of Bruno Mannheim, per the official description, quote, Bruno Mannheim is known to most of Metropolis as a local hero, a philanthropist who's revived the struggling neighborhoods for the city. For years, Lois Lane has worked to prove that behind that facade is a career criminal and the head of a notorious organization Intergang. With some new leads, she might be closer than ever, unquote. I hope this doesn't, I hope this isn't Chad Coleman, this doesn't bode ill for the Orville, but frankly, I don't see it as. I think the Orville still has a shot of coming back for another season. I think there's still hope. Keep up the hope. Twin Peaks veteran Madeline Zima will play Casey Brink, the superhero known as Space Case, in the upcoming season of Doom Patrol. The character of Casey was a big part of the Gerard Way Dick Darrington run on Doom Patrol, suggesting that it's possible the final season will mirror some of the animal events of the Young Animal run of the series, which began back in 2016. Now, in the comics, Casey was an in-universe comic book character who was brought to real life by Danny the Street, whose powers are growing out of control. Danny didn't mean to bring her to life, and let her go live her life, unaware of how she was born. Now later, when Danny was targeted by a group of aliens known as Vectra, he called on Casey, revealed her true origin, and asked her to join the Doom Patrol to fight them off. Now there's also an evil version of Casey in the comics named Doodlebug, who came to life after Danny wondered what Casey would be like in the real world, given her dysfunctional upbringing by a mad scientist. In a statement, showrunner Jeremy Carver told Entertainment Weekly, quote, Casey is so beloved by our writers on staff and by fans of Doom Patrol in general, we finally found a way to bring her into the story in a way that feels wholly organic to us, even though to someone who's never seen Doom Patrol, it might seem a little bats insane. To us, it fits perfect, and it's not just a cameo. Unquote. DC Comics is going all out to celebrate the 30th anniversary of Harley Quinn. In addition to the 30th anniversary oversized one-shot that's coming out, which celebrates Harley's first appearance in Batman the Animated Series in 1992. The publisher has announced further plans to honor the clown princess of crime, including news of the newest Harley Quinn creative team who are going to take over the title beginning with March 2023's Harley Quinn number 28. The new book will be written by current Catwoman writer Tina Howard with art by Batman urban legend Sweeney Boo. This serves as the first major creative change for Harley in several years, with Stephanie Phillips operating as writer since early 2021 alongside a rotating group of artists. Harley Quinn has always been one of my favorite, Batman the Animated Series characters. Yeah, and she's been done well on some cases and poorly on the others, but I think she's just one of those rare modern age characters that has really hit the zeitgeist. Now let's go on to the Marvel news. And we begin the Marvel news today with a new Iron Man game being in the works at Electronic Arts, with Motive Studios selected to work on the game. Now, the game will be a single-player game that is now in early development, and according to the announcement, quote, the game will feature an original narrative that taps into the rich history of Iron Man, channeling the complexity, charisma, and creative genius of Tony Stark, and enabling players to feel like what's like to truly play as Iron Man. I would think being like Iron Man would be like locking yourself in a suit of armor with rockets attached. Is that just me? Anyway, Loki season 2 is getting another actor. Casey is getting more Casey from Eugene Cordero. Deadline has learned that he's been made into a series regular. In addition to Cordero, Owen Wilson, Gagu Mabatha-Raw, Sophia Di Martina, Wunmi Masaku, and Tom Hiddleston are all slated to return for the second season. Rafael Casal has also been cast for season 2, and it was announced at D23 Expo earlier this month that Ki Hu Wan has joined the cast as well. Oh, yeah, and of course, Tara Strong is returning as Miss Minutes. I truly enjoyed Loki. I'm truly looking forward to the second season. Black Panther Wakanda Forever is getting a Kraft mac and cheese tie-in. Cheesy, isn't it? With limited edition Black Panther inspired boxes. Now, according to Kraft, the shapes will include the iconic Wakanda shield, the Kimoyo blue bead bracelet worn by various characters, the beads which are made of vibranium in the Marvel films and are an example of Wakanda's advanced communication technologies, and are given to Wakandans at birth to wear throughout their lives. Now, the new limited edition Kraft Mac and Cheese Black Panther boxes are set to be available on grocery store shelves nationwide this fall, with the suggested retail price of $1.49, and will be available while supplies last. Now, Black Panther Wakanda Forever is set to open in theaters on November 11th, 2022. And speaking of Black Panther Wakanda Forever, the question has been asked, why not recast the role of T'Challa in the MCU? Well, Kevin Feige has been kind enough to answer to Empire Magazine, and he answered, quote, it just felt like it was much too soon to recast. Stan Lee always said that Marvel represents the world outside your window. And we had talked about how as extraordinary and fantastical as our characters and stories are, there's a relatable and human element to everything we do. The world is still processing the loss of Chad, and Ryan poured into the story, unquote. Yeah, on one side I can see it, that, it gives us, fans, we have that sense of loss, it's too soon. But on the other hand, they didn't do that for the Falcon. They changed characters from Iron Man 1 to Iron Man 2. The character of Rhodey from Iron Man 1 to Iron Man 2 real quick. They didn't just kill off the character. So, I can see it kind of both ways. But I think this way is just perfectly fine. I'm looking forward to Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, and we'll see how great this is. Now let's go on to the Star Wars news. Asmodee and Z-Man Games have revealed Star Wars: The Clone Wars, a Pandemic Systems game. Now, as the title suggests, the new game is set during the Clone Wars, and players have to defend the Republic as some of the galaxy's most legendary Jedis. You'll need to work as a team to complete missions across the galaxy and stop the Separatists, and you'll cross lightsabers with villains like Darth Maul and General Grievous along the way. Now, the new game will launch in the United States exclusively at Target for right now for $59.99, and then we'll hit other stores in the US and worldwide on October 1st. Charlie Barnett, best known for his role in Netflix's Russian Doll, is reportedly in talks to appear in Star Wars: The Acolyte, Amandla Steinberg's upcoming Disney Plus series. Now, as with basically any character in a high-profile franchise like this, details on the character are, under wraps, with the Hollywood Reporter saying that it's only a supporting role. Well, are you a fan of Tamagotchi? Are you a fan of the R2-D2 Tamagotchi that came out a little while ago? Well, here's another one for you. They've announced a new Star Wars Grogu Tamagotchi, which will be out on September 20th. And they revealed in an announcement, quote, "Hey, Tamagotchi friends. If you've already trained R2-D2 to learn all 19 skills, you'll be thrilled to know that another beloved Star Wars character is coming to your palm, Grogu. The latest Tamagotchi Nano collaboration puts Grogu under your care with the Star Wars Grogu Tamagotchi. Depending on how you nurture Grogu, he will change into one of 12 different appearances, including 3 secret ones. Feed Grogu macaron and squid chowder, but not too much or the squid will jump on him. There are 2 games available anytime to play, or additional mini games with alternate depending on how you interact with them, with 10 playable outcomes. Ready to expand your Star Wars Tamagotchi galaxy? Fans can pre-order the Grogu Tamagotchi as soon on Amazon.com, available in blue version or use the Force version, which comes with an additional silicone case that is removable. Now, special guests will also come in and visit in the game every hour. This is graded towards those 8-year-olds and up. Comes with the batteries included, no Wi-Fi needed. Yeah, that's cute. Tamagotchis were big when I was much younger. I was in the 90s. I would have been in my teens. I never really got into Tamagotchi myself. I think I had one at some point in my life, but if this interests you, and this is also a way to have something with you that, let's face it, doesn't rely on your phone. So, maybe you should check it out. I'm going to check out and see if our Walmart has one. Anyway, let's get to our next story. James Earl Jones is retiring from the role of Darth Vader's voice after nearly 50 years. According to Vanity Fair, the 91-year-old actor has signed off on archival voice recordings being used by young filmmakers who plan to utilize artificial intelligence synthetic speech technology to recreate Jones's younger voice from his previous films for future Lucasfilm projects. Now, the company has enlisted the assistance of Respeecher, a Ukrainian startup that uses AI technology to craft new conversations from revitalized old voice recordings. Respeecher's relationship with Lucasfilm began with the Disney Plus series, The Book of Boba Fett, for which they recreated the voice of young Luke Skywalker. The two also teamed up for the voice performance of Darth Vader on Obi-Wan Kenobi, which debuted this past summer on Disney Plus. I'm totally for this. James Earl Jones has, he's over 90. He's over 91. He's lived a full life. Let him retire. He doesn't have to be the voice of Darth Vader until he literally dies. Yeah, let him live the last few years of his life. Sitting on sitting on a porch somewhere, rocking away. You know, he's earned it, and technology has come to a level where we don't really need you know if he's willing to do if he was willing to do it, I'd say let him go do it. But he's signed off on, hey, you have me saying every single vowel and consonant and all these words that you can just reorder and shape with technology and come out sounding you know exactly like I was there doing it. Go do it. And I wouldn't be surprised also if they didn't pay him some sort of royalty or licensing fee for that. If his lawyers were smart, they probably did. Anyway, let's go on to the Star Trek news. The Paramount Plus era of Star Trek is 5 years old this week. This week marks the first episode of Star Trek Discovery, which was shown on CBS and CBS All Access. So I really enjoy the current era of Star Trek. I'm not a big fan of everything. Again, Discovery, not my bag. It's a good show. I just think it makes Michael Burnham out to be the end all be all of the everything basically hangs on Michael Burnham, to live or die. And I think that's too much Star Wars. That's Luke Skywalker. That's not Star Trek to me. But again, a lot of people still like the show. I mean, the show's going into its 5th season, so there's obviously life there. And I've met the lead actress. She's a nice person. But again, congratulations to Star Trek for hitting this anniversary, which I believe is it 55 years since the original series. 654. 54 years. Whatever. Anyway, speaking of Star Trek Discovery, it's coming to physical media this December. You remember my talk earlier about buying physical media to make sure the show doesn't vanish from the face of the earth. Now's your time. The 4th season, which saw the newly promoted Michael Burnham and the Discovery somehow being the only hope to save the galaxy, will include, quote, Star Trek Discovery, the Voyage of Season 4, a continuation of the series. This behind-the-scenes featurette includes writers and producers as they discuss how their visions were realized by the cast, sets, costumes, and props. Being Michael Burnham, the captain's log, from Sonequa Martin Green, fans are taken through her personal journey as Captain Michael Burnham. So you can follow her with as she sits in the captain's chair, shares intimate videos taken throughout the season, behind-the-scenes moments and interviews. Creating Space, fans will get to explore the VFX department to see the use of the AR wall for immersive on-screen experience created for the holodeck, which utilizes the latest in AR wall technology. The toll it took from the writer's room and prop building to costume fittings, the production stage and post. The cast and crew discussed the toll COVID took on the development of Season 4, plus commentaries, deleted scenes, and gag reels. Now, the Season 4 will be released internationally on dates ranging from December 5th to January 9th. So, check your local store to see when it's coming to you. Star Trek fans are eagerly waiting for Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 2, but IDW Publishing has announced a new comic book that will help tide you over. Until then, Star Trek Strange New Worlds will be making its comics debut, though its versions of Pike, Spock, and Number One appeared in Discovery Aftermath previously. In Star Trek: Strange New Worlds, The Illyrian Enigma, a new series set between the show's first and second seasons, picking up where Strange New Worlds left off, with Una arrested for her genetic modifications. The Illyrian Enigma sees Captain Pike pursuing proof of Una's innocence. The series comes from the writing team of Kirsten Beyer and Mike Johnson, who have helmed all the tie-ins of the current Star Trek live-action series, and artist Megan Levins, who recently drew Star Trek: The Mirror Wars Troy. Here's the synopsis for the first issue coming this December. Quote, journey to new reaches of this exclusive comic tie-in set between seasons 1 and 2 of fan-favorite Paramount Plus series Star Trek: Strange New Worlds. With Una accused of unlawfully genetic modification by Starfleet, Captain Pike sets out in search of evidence that could prove her innocence. From the mighty pens of Trek duo Kirsten Beyer and Mike Johnson, with art by Megan Levines, The Illyrian Enigma is the second announced piece of tie-in media for Star Trek: Strange New Worlds, though it will be the first published. It precedes Star Trek: Strange New Worlds, The High Country, the upcoming novel written by John Jackson Miller, who previously wrote the Discovery novel, The Enterprise War, also featuring Pike, Spock, and Number One. Star Trek: Strange New Worlds, The Illyrian Enigma goes on sale on December 21st. I'll probably buy the audio version. I just don't have time to actually sit down and read. You know, I'm sure there'll come a point in my life where I'll get back to physically sitting down and reading. But right now, you know, it's just easier if I treat it more like a podcast than a book. So, you know, books are fundamental. But reading is fundamental, folks. But get books in you any way you can. And let's go on to that geek comic, to that old-fashioned geek news. Whoop. Sorry about that. I was playing around with the green screen a few weeks ago, and I forgot to turn that element off. Somehow got reset as the transition there. So we'll have to fix that. Anyway, we start geek news today with Netflix revealing that Wednesday, the upcoming Addams Family spin-off series from Tim Burton will debut on the streaming service on November 23rd. Why not in October? We'll never know. Netflix describes the anticipated horror series as a sleuthing, supernaturally infused mystery charting Wednesday Addams' years as a student at Nevermore Academy. Wednesday's attempt to master her emerging psychic ability, thwart a monstrous killing spree that has terrorized the local town, and solve the supernatural mystery that embroiled her parents 25 years ago, all while navigating her new and tangled relationships at Nevermore. I'm interested in the show. I'm sad it's on Netflix because, unless I make a ton of money on sports betting that I can pay for like a year of Netflix. I'm really not that interested in turning Netflix back on, but I don't know. Maybe this is the show. Anyway, final piece of news here. Legendary actress Louise Fletcher has passed away. Fletcher was known for several roles, including Nurse Ratched in One Flew Over the Cuckoo Nest. Louise Fletcher, which one, let's try that again. Legendary actress Louise Fletcher has passed away. Fletcher was known for several roles, including Nurse Ratched in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, which won her the Academy Award for Best Actress, as well as a BAFTA and a Golden Globe. Now, she is also known to Star Trek fans in the recurring role of Win Adami, the lustful leader of the Bajoran religion. Fletcher was born on July 22nd, 1934, in Birmingham, Alabama, to deaf parents. Now, her father was an Episcopalian missionary and founded over 40 churches for the deaf in Alabama. She started acting in television shows like Bat Masterson, Maverick, The Untouchables, Wagon Train, Perry Mason, The Muppets Go Hollywood, In the Heat of the Night, Tales from the Crypt, VR5, and many more. And she also acted in movies like The Lady in Red, Exorcist II, The Heretic, Brainstorm, Strange Invaders, Firestarter, Cruel Intentions, The Genesis Code, and many others. Now, Louise died in her home in Montrose, France on September 23rd, 2022, at the age of 88. A life well lived. And that brings us to the end of this edition. Now, please be sure to check us out on social media. We're at Twitter at Multiverse Tom. We're also on Facebook and Instagram as well. And if you'd like to contribute financially to the show, check out our check our show notes, visit our TeePublic store, anything. If you have an opinion about anything I've said in this podcast, please head on over, fill in a form, write a letter, whatever you want to. Head on over to multiversetonight.com. If you're a subscriber, thank you very much. It really does me good whenever I see the counter on my Buzzsprout page go up, a little by little, because that means someone out there is hearing my words. Be sure to share with friends, family. Heck, share me with people you hate. I'm not picky. If you're brand new to the show, thank you. Hit that subscribe button. And again, while you're someplace, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, wherever, leave some feedback. Let me know how we're doing. I can't change unless I know that there's something wrong. Special thanks to Shane Ivers for the intro music and Lobo Loco for the outro theme music. Now, please, thanks for watching this edition of Multiverse Tonight. We'll be back in a couple more weeks with some more sci-fi and comic book news. Now, please, exit the universe in an orderly fashion. Good night. Multiverse Tonight is a production of Half-Baked Genre Productions. Copyright 2022. All rights reserved. This podcast is part of the Pop Goes the Culture podcast network. Find out about our other podcasts at popgoestheculture.com. And that brings us to the end of the show for today. That picture right back there, that's Charles Martinet. That is the voice of basically the Mario characters. Mario, Luigi, Waluigi. He's a great guy. The pop behind me that's my new Bianca Belair pop. You also see the Starfleet parking sign there. That's the Tom Paris collector's plate from Star Trek Lower Decks. That, of course, is a controller from the Atari 2600, which I still own. I still own it. I still have the games for it. I have the adapter for it. I could put on a TV and, it'd work. So I don't need that. Behind that, there's my political action figures there. also Tom Servo. There's a rock. That is my favorite rock. Um, that rock I've had since I was a kid. Um, if I shined it up, it has I don't know what the sparkly stuff in it. It would sparkle, but it's been dulled for years. And I don't have a rock tumbler or the probably feldspar something like that. Anyway, below that is a bookcase that has you see it right there. There's Andre the Giant. Have some stickers. This is. I really like this room. This is my getaway, if you will. And there are other things I would wish to do with this room. You know, and there's what you're not seeing over this side over here is there's the closet, and there's a bunch of stuff pushed in front of the closet. Pretty much, I still have stuff that I need to figure out what to do with, you know, where to put it. So I have an exercise bike which I bought for my wife and I that pretty much we gave up on. You know, we gave up on riding it. So I am at some point in the very near future going to put it up for sale, probably for 75, $50. Yeah. But yeah, this this kind of my oasis. So thank you for joining me in my little oasis today. I'll be back in a couple of weeks, if not sooner, with something else. And I can definitely tell the CBD gummy that I took kicked in, because I am definitely a lot more relaxed and more talkative. So maybe I should do that every week. Maybe I should take a CBD gummy before I do my podcast. Anyway, that'd be a good ad for Sunday Scaries. Sunday Scaries, hit me up. We'll do an ad. Anyway, thanks for watching.